First of all, I'd like to say good evening. We will start off with prayer and pledge. I will lead the prayer and the pledge tonight. For those who would like to participate, please do so. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking you to seek your guidance in decisions that we have to make. We ask that you cover the city of Saginaw with peace, love, and harmony. Father, we know that you're able. These things we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. And they all said amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Young.
Present.
Councilmember Seals.
Present.
Councilmember Balls.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Present.
Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Councilmember Braddock.
Present.
Councilmember Wiggins.
Present.
Councilmember Hammond.
Present.
And Mayor Moore.
Present.
You have all members present.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to welcome you all to Saginaw City Council. This meeting is being televised on YouTube, and we ask that everybody remain courteous and quiet at all times. Let me start off with some housekeeping. For the council, I need you to silence your phones as well as your computers. Audience, I know you don't want me to tell you, but I need you to silence your phone as well. And we will be respectable because this meeting is being televised. And what we don't want is we don't want people to think that we don't know how to act in meetings when we know we do. Madam Clerk, any announcements?
I don't have anything, Mayor. We have a proclamation on the agenda recognizing September 8th, 2026 as 989 Day.
Can we get the representative from 989 to come in to the podium? I think she's trying to come through the door, Chief. That proclamation will be read by Councilwoman Seals.
Whereas the city of Saginaw is united by the 989 area code, which represents our shared identity and community. And whereas September 8th, 2026 marks the first annual 989 Day, a citywide celebration designed to bring together residents from all parts of Saginaw. And whereas this celebration is more than just an event, it's about unity, bringing together every part of Saginaw from both sides of the bridge. And whereas 989 Day gives our people something positive to look forward to under the theme, One City, One Day, One Purpose. And whereas the event will take place Tuesday, September 8th, 2026 at Morley Plaza, 133 North Washington Avenue. Whereas this free community event will feature live entertainment, local vendors, food trucks, and community resources for all residents to enjoy. And whereas 989 Day represents our commitment to building stronger connections and celebrating what makes Saginaw special. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Brenda F. Moore, Mayor of the City of Saginaw, do hereby proclaim September 8th, 2026 as 989 Day in the City of Saginaw and encourage all residents to participate in this historic celebration of community, unity, and pride. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Saginaw, City of Saginaw, to affix this day, the 17th day of August in the year of our Lord, 2026. Signed by Brenda F. Moore, Mayor, Council members Priscilla Garcia, Mayor Pro Tem, Michael Balls, Eric Braddock Sr., Carly Hammond, Bill Oshtash, Jacinta Seals, Heidi Wiggins, and Tobias Young, Timothy Morales, City Manager.
Now what we need you to do is this. We need you to come this way. Stop crying. Stop crying.
Congratulations.
We want you to go. We need you to go all, start at this end with Councilwoman Hammond. Go all the way down the circle, hit over here.
Thank you.
You got your flowers. I need you to go back up to the podium. This is a good thing. We need to talk about it.
Hey, everybody. Let's go, Saginaw. We got it.
Go!
Let's go. It's an honor. Thank y'all for hearing me. Thank y'all for allowing me to have a voice. I am going to dedicate myself to this every year. No matter where I'm at in this world, I will be here. My life is here. My work is here. My passion is here. So this means everything, not just to me, but it means everything to the people that stand behind me, and it means everything to the city. We needed this. Y'all earned this. Y'all deserve this. I'm done.
Congratulations again. Madam Clerk,
Mayor, that takes us to public input.
speakers, I need you to remain courtesy and respectful at all times. You will be called to the podium. Please state your name. Speak loud enough so that we can hear what you're saying, please. Council people, I need you to speak louder too, because they can't hear us. There's a lot of people in the outwards, so we're gonna have to talk loud as well. You have 3 minutes. Within those 3 minutes, I need you to at least expound on what your issue is. Please stick to the 3 minutes, please. Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker is Donovan Monte Gomez.
Hello, my name is Donovan Monte Gomez. Beware, men, of the feminine fatal, for she is the ruin of empires and the detriment of men's souls. Like Americans' border, she is spread wide open. It is time for the men that represents the American citizen to become territorial, like a loyal hound barking when invasion is present, and subtle, protecting his kin and lands. That takes only to his loyal wife and her laws, one nation under God. Today I've come to talk about subversion through illegal immigration. America, no doubt, from its early foundations described within this fine document of the Declaration of Independence, I quote, from obstructing the naturalization of foreigners and a whole list of other grievances. Under Title 8 of the U.S. Code, it grants process for a foreigner to become a naturalized citizen. But within the same breath, under 8 U.S.C. 101A3, 1182A, 9B, and 1325, plus more. The definitions of unlawful alien are, at present, you will be subject to the fundamental American right of due process and be processed out accordingly. The problem is, for every illegal alien that has the potential to take away a potential job of an American, no doubt a man is capable of having ambition. However, like a philosophical Mexican standoff, there is not enough land for the both of us. Now we are stuck in a situation where ambition was made to counteract ambition. Military-age males crossing the border with women and children in the same breath. What makes you think a young man with ambition like myself does not want the same thing? It simply resides within competition, resources, jobs. It is up to either the citizens, the federal government, or the state to ask as merchants to secure a better quality of life among these Americans, not foreign nations and their interests. And speaking about subversion through illegal immigration, within politics, healthcare, and many other institutions, like for instance that instance out of California, you can essentially fundamentally change the way how the country thinks and acts. And like as a good man once said from one of the Michigan legislative meetings, a free man does not thank the government for his rights, he declares them to them. And in turn, like a good parent, which is a dutiful citizen, is there to slap the government in place, which is why I want to go up and bring up the ordinances that you guys have passed on this agenda meeting. An ordinance to add nuisance gatherings. The government can essentially, according to some court documents, pass reasonable regulations. So the stupider the people get, the more reasonable it can get, and tyrannical as well. And in turn, I just will ask you guys not to vote on that ordinance. And I have spoke my piece. So thank you.
Thank you.
Vote no on it.
Our next speaker is Dennis Morrison.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, managers, and community members. I'm here about the amendment to ordinance 94-120, nuisance gathering, 94 nuisance health and safety, Title 4. Here we go again, forcing our youth to find other options to enjoy themselves without giving them constructive options. There are no outlets to gathering to do what they do, what young people do, socialize and party. So when they have a house party or a block party, you're not going to make it illegal. The majority of our youth are law-abiding, well-behaved citizens of our community. They go to these gatherings to have fun, hang out with their friends. Most come from good homes and are good students, college students, or working serving you meals or clothing, productive members of our community. But that 1%, you're going to classify all our youth. As with any society, there are people that do not like to see people having fun or have a beef with someone in a group, or want to make someone else possessions or take someone else's possessions. This is where the violence comes in, and no one can stop premeditated actions. There is no ordinance, no law that's going to stop the activity. However, I do see you pushing these productive youth into activity that will cause them unnecessary issues with law enforcement. Please think about what you're about to do, the good young people in our community. Your problem is with enforcing the laws that's what's already on the books. There are loitering laws, vagrancy laws, blocking traffic laws. Illegal parking and noise ordinance. You already have them on the book. But now you're going to make me responsible for some kid that has a beef with somebody that just so happens to be where some other youth are hanging out at. Things have been going on in this city. It wasn't a gathering, but our children have come up dead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Melanie Velasco.
Hello, City Council, you know I love you. Hello, table over there, manager. Okay, hello people. My complaint and Beth of what's going on is, like we had another storm, but thank God we didn't get the branches all pulled all down in the cars, landing on cars or destruction of property. So I think the city needs to get out there before the weather gets really bad. And the respect that I'm saying for the city is like if you have trees and branches in your yard and stuff like that, and you know they're hanging over the sidewalk, people gotta walk and ride their bike. And sometimes people wear $500-600 glasses. You want to knock them off and they sue you? That would not be nice to him, just saying. And then the sidewalks, if you have a sidewalk in front of your home or in your neighborhood and you see it uprooted like the way I've been seeing them, and an elderly person falls, I mean, does the city want to get sued for concussion for the elderly? Let's get the sidewalks fixed. And let's clean it up. We still need those extra garbage bins going down the street, and I'd like to see this. I'd like to see that the city kind of put out an announcement that periodically you just leave your light on just a little longer on your porch, especially on the weekends or something like when kids are going to be out walking around. That's all your neighbors that you're protecting with the light. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You heard it before. And so I'm right there. And it's not going to end with me. I'm not going to let up. And I'd like to see little homes. Because we got homeless people walking the streets and they're in between buildings and they're under the bridge. Go over there and visit them. They're hungry and they're thirsty and all that stuff, And then we still got these abandoned houses. I don't know what the heck is up with this. It's confusing. It's aggravating. It's dangerous. And I'm for the future generation. I am retired healthcare worker, CNA, and I was once a security guard. I've cleaned banks. I worked in a factory. I've done a lot of things, and I'm still here. And I am from Saginaw, but I've lived in other places, prettier, Montrose, Chesney, St. Charles. There ain't a lot of garbage around in those cities because people have respect for their village. They pick their stuff up out of their front yard. They don't leave the kids' toys and these basketball rims in the middle of the street. Now, if a car runs into that, they can sue you. Your basketball rim does not belong in the street. I don't know. I think my 3 minutes may be up, but I just want to say I love you guys. You know I do. Thank you. Thank you, Saginaw. God bless you.
Our next speaker is Veronica Vella.
Good evening, mayors and members of the Saginaw City Council.
Good evening.
My name is Veronica Vella, founder and president of La Mission. We have been serving the Saginaw community since 2024. Tonight, I am here to speak about grants, transparency, and equal opportunity for smaller grassroots organizations. When La Mission asks about grants, we don't get answers. We ask where the grants are and when applications are open, and who we need to speak with. Too often, nobody seems to know. Yet, somehow, grants money continues to be awarded. So tonight, I am asking, where is the information? Where are these opportunities being posted? Who is responsible for letting organizations know about them? And why is it difficult for a smaller organization like La Mission to get a clear answer? We are not asking you for a handout for a grant. Give us the information, give us the opportunity to apply, give us a fair chance, and then judge us by our work. Because La Mission is doing work. In our first year, 2024, we served more than 530 people. In 2025, we served 870 people in different ways. We help families in need, we work with seniors, we tutor children, we help people experiencing homeless, we support women leaving an abusive situation. Sometimes that means standing beside them, listening to them, or supporting them as they go through difficult situations. We provide grief support and support for family dealing with mental health challenge. We also believe our children and our culture matter. We provide an Easter egg hunt for our children and we create an adult quinceañera for women aged 30 and older who never had that opportunity to have one. Saginaw already does not have enough Latino organizations doing this kind of hands-on community work. La Misión is not going anywhere. We didn't start La Misión to put on a program for one day, take pictures for social media or grant application, then stop doing the work. Our work continues after the pictures are taken. The phone calls continue, the family still needs help. The homeless still needs assistance. Women leaving an abusive situation will need someone beside them. Our seniors and children still needs program and support. This is why I believe organizations receiving public or community funding should be held accountable for measurable results. How many people were actually served? What services were provided? Why did the funded accomplish? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kim Rowan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Rowan. I organized a protest group called Fight for Democracy Mid-Michigan, which started in 2005 in January. We have protested in Saginaw County. Protests have taken place in the city of Saginaw, Saginaw Township, Freeland, Hemlock, Shields, Birch Run, Frankenmuth, Kochville, and I've also organized several No Kings, which the last one had over 300 people at Green Acres, which would be considered a crowd. The nuisance ordinance concerns me because the wording is too open-ended, and although protests are protected by the First Amendment, there is cause of concern with the wording, I believe, that it could become a problem for protesters. It has been said by this council that it has looked into this type of ordinance in other areas of Michigan. And if this ordinance passes through, it will become an example for other areas within our own county or even our state to look at us as an example. We need to make sure that that is a good one, because I can tell you firsthand that there's many places that I have just mentioned that we have protested at that do not like protesters. They don't like protesting in their area or in their community, and you can do absolutely nothing besides put your foot on the ground and they'll be calling the police, which is what my concerns me about this ordinance. Protesting has a certain responsibility, and you have to follow that. And the organizing does as well have responsibility, and I take that very seriously, but often it can be absolutely ridiculous reasons of concern that the police be called, and we've done absolutely nothing wrong. There are things there, and these are the things that I'm concerned with. I know we're talking right now about the city of Saginaw, but sometimes things like this have a domino effect, and they can have other areas doing the same thing, and we will have issues protesting and the wordings of these ordinances. On August the 28th, we will be remembering the March on Washington. That was the date where over 250,000 people gathered together. And if it had happened right now in Saginaw, I guess that would be a problem with the nuisance ordinance. But the March on Washington is part of our history, where Dr. King read, "I Have a Dream" speech. Fight for Democracy in Michigan held an event not very long ago at the Mexican American Council to honor someone who marched with Dr. King that day. His name was John Lewis. He had a saying that he would say, "Make good trouble." Now, I understand this ordinance was brought here with the idea of trying to keep large groups from gathering, because we have seen in Saginaw County that they often result in people being killed or often hurt. I respect the council for trying to do whatever they can to avoid these kind of trouble, but they can avoid that kind of trouble. But on the flip side, protesting is making good trouble. It's people who showed up today. It's people who pick up a sign, stand in the sidewalk in all kinds of weather just to say what they believe should happen and what they're against. And they need to be protected, because that's what our country was built on. So I'm asking this council to be very careful in passing something that's too broad. I'll close with a quote. "Do not get lost in the sea of despair. Do not become bitter or hostile. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Never, ever be afraid to make some good noise and get in some good trouble. Necessary trouble. We'll find a way to make a way out of it." John Lewis, thank you.
Our next speaker is Norman Braddock.
start the clock on me yet until I start speaking. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council people, City Manager and staff. My name is Norman Braddock. I'm here representing Epicurean Lodge number 674. I'm speaking loud because people in the hallway are having a hard time hearing. We're here, first of all, to thank the Mayor and Councilman Braddock for helping us celebrate our 100th anniversary this past May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But we're here to talk about the nuisance ordinance. And we're neither for nor against the ordinance. We think there's enough laws on the books right now to enforce to keep our community safe. We provide a clean and safe environment for our members and our customers and our guests. But I have here with me today some of the leadership, and I want my Chief of Security, William Robinson, to explain what our issue is.
Is he signed up?
No. He's speaking. No, he's not.
He has to be signed up.
Okay,
to
no
speak.
problem. I can
Correct me
speak
if
for
I'm
him.
wrong.
That's correct.
Okay, no problem. I can speak for him. Because we had a meeting before we came here. We've meeting consistently. Many times when we call the police to come clear our parking lot, we may get a response, we may not. We have more people outside the building than we have inside the building. Those people come and drink in the parking lot, smoke weed, leave liquor bottles. We have to clean up the next morning. And we've even had instances where we've called the police and said, there's people in the parking lot flashing guns, and no response. If all we're asking for is a response, that's it. If you show up, those people will scatter. Now, one thing they do, they'll leave, and then a half hour later, they'll come back. This is between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. Last weekend, our staff couldn't get out the parking lot because there were people blocking us in. We didn't get out. We closed up at 1:30. We tried to get out of there by 2 o'clock. We didn't get out of there till 2:30 in the morning on Saturday night because people were out in the parking lot drinking, smoking, and playing loud music. So all we ask is for you to be responsive. And we've talked to the chief. Chief has been very cooperative, but we shouldn't have to call. You know where the people are in this city. You know what happens. You look, you see it on Facebook. All a cop has to do, a police officer has to do, is show up. And if there's a crowd there, if you sit there and watch them, these idiots are not going to pull a gun out in front of the police. They're going to leave. They're going to scatter like roaches when you turn the lights on. So all we ask is that you respond when we call you, come when we don't call you. And if you come and we see you in the parking lot, our security staff will come out and meet you and greet you and point out to you where the problems are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Krista Mann. Do you hear the name that I said? There she is. Yeah, she's there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I was here 2 weeks ago to advise the council to vote no on this poorly crafted and uninspired ordinance. As I stated before, it was reported to the press that the language was carefully crafted to avoid restricting constitutionally protected rights. I don't know if you thought that the community wasn't going to read the ordinance, but there is no such language in this ordinance. So when we pushed back on it, the explanation became that a local ordinance can't supersede constitutional rights. The problem with that is what you go through to figure out if this is constitutional or not, right? But we don't have to go through all that because the ACLU of Michigan has now stepped in, sent a letter, and said that this ordinance was what we said, too broad and vague. So what I'm wondering right now is, like, are we reading the ordinances when they come up? Or are they like the contracts and it's not your job? Every time I'm here, two things become very clear to me. First thing is that the will of the people that you represent isn't even an afterthought. And also that petty personality conflicts and personal relationships are centered instead of good policy. As a constituent, I take responsibility for thinking that my job ended at the ballot box. I understand that now, expecting my elected officials to do their job of representing me without oversight from the community was naive. When you all think that reading contracts and possibly even reading ordinances is not in the job description, I understand that either I have to read every agenda and be prepared to be at every meeting, or elect new councilmen willing to take responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sarah Blankenship.
My name is Sarah Kiger, and I'm here today because I think this council has been a little too sleepy, and it considers its constituents a little sleepy as well, and it's time to wake up. This city loves ordinances, and as far as I can count, already has 5 in place which address the issues that this council says are at hand. Chapter 130, Section 16, causing or risking public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm. Chapter 130, Section 17, failure or refusal of disorderly persons by bystanders to disperse upon official order. Chapter 130, Section 18, order to move from public hazard. Chapter 130, Section 19, obstructing public passage or place. Chapter 130, Section 32, disturb the peace of neighborhoods. Saginaw doesn't have a violence problem, it has a poverty problem. According to the American Psychological Association, children from lower socioeconomic statuses and backgrounds are more than twice as likely to have 3 or more adverse experiences as their higher SES peers. Family and drug abuse, alcohol abuse, domestic violence, incarcerated relatives, emotional neglect. A significant portion of urban American adolescents perceive that they will die before the age of 35. Targeting the risk and protective factors of violence at the community level will have the greatest impact on safety. Risk factors like unemployment, transience, lack of economic opportunity, community participation, poor housing conditions, and lack of access to services. This ordinance is simply a bandage to a systemic wound that our complacent and complicit city council members continue to ignore. This is the extra oomph that Saginaw needs. Invest in your community.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dawn Garrett.
You know, excuse me, we just talked about being courteous. And I understand we get excited. It's okay. But we got to remember, we still are in a meeting mode, please. Okay? On the upside, when somebody say something, I want to holler too. But I have to restrain myself, so please, let's keep that in mind. This is an official business meeting. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Our next speaker is Dawn Garrett.
Hello, my name is Dawn Garrett. I live in the township, but I work in the city, and my family's been in Saginaw since the 1860s. I'm worried about this ordinance. I think it's too broad and vague, and that it gives the police too much power. This is based on a recent experience with the Saginaw police that I have, and because of the experience, I do not trust their judgment to enforce ordinance in a way that is just or fair. Back in June, myself and 2 other women were protesting. A vehicle with no license plate pulled up. A man wearing a shoulder holster and carrying a gun and a magazine of bullets came up to us. He started taunting and threatening us. He kept saying if we touched him, he would use his Second Amendment rights, that for our safety, we better not touch him. At one point, his hand was inches from my face, and I worried that if I stumbled or flinched, that he would shoot me. He then made sure to tell us he had extra magazines in his truck. My friend Paul called the police, and here's what the man said.
Protest against your protest. Oh, we'll call the police now, and they're not going to do anything. Cops are on our side. Cops are on American side.
We then fled and hid in Oracle Brewing. He followed us in his truck. The police did arrive, and we told them what happened. They said it was his First Amendment right and that he had done nothing wrong. The police asked for my name, and I asked why. They said they needed it for their police report. I called the next business day. I wanted a copy of the report, but there was no report. I worry that not only will they not protect my First Amendment right to protest loudly on the corner of Court in Michigan, a lot of people, I'm sure, complain that we are a nuisance. I'm not just worried that they will not protect my First Amendment right, I am worried that they will arrest me. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dave.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is David Schmidt.
Hey guys, my name is Dave Schmidt. I was really mad and wanted to talk about scared leadership again to you guys tonight, but I don't have time. And I just wanted to say, I've only got a few minutes here. I'm somebody who regularly organizes 300 events and gatherings in the city limits every single year, so I have concerns about this particular ordinance. So I'm actually going to urge a no vote tonight if we wind up getting to that point. But I quickly want to move on to the incident that Dawn just spoke about. A few weeks ago at Court in Michigan, I regularly protest with her and several other people, I think, in this room tonight. I was out of town traveling when that incident happened, and those 3 brave girls were standing there protesting. They held the fort down for a couple of days, but they were quickly approached by somebody that I believe may be a white supremacist. In the video going around, you will see him repeatedly berate the young Latino woman who was doing all the filming. She recently joined our group as a collective. She would be here tonight, but she's scared, she's sad, and she's mad, but she wanted you to know she's starting a new job in Frankenmuth tonight, teaching kids to dance. So that's why she's not here tonight. This guy went on to berate her, made fun of her minority status twice, called her trash, called her a trash bag, and implied that he was the true American in this situation. He invaded her personal space at least 3 times after she asked him to step away, telling him that he told her that, "I don't give a fuck about your feelings," with 2 guns holstered under his arms, inches from her face. He went on with other insults and threats of deportation. The SPD let him go with no license plate on his vehicle. I've got pictures of that if anybody's interested. I believe a crime was committed. At what level? I have no idea. I don't know. I would debate that maybe that was even potentially a level of a hate crime. Either way, the SBT dismissed it, and I was just here to inform you that this took place to people that I run with every single day. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Craig Tatum.
Distinguished members of City Council and members of our community, My name is Craig Tatum, and I represent New Life Baptist Ministries. I'm here tonight because what is happening around Stop and Shop on James Avenue is no longer merely an inconvenience. We believe these ongoing conditions warrant investigation as a public nuisance and pose a serious threat to our park and our neighborhood. During the last 2 months, approximately 2,000 people have entered the Dr. Rufus Bradley Sr. Mission in the City Community Park. A women's shelter, Great Lakes Bay Health Center, and the East Side Soup Kitchen are all within blocks of us. On Thursday of last week, approximately 100 foster children attended a back-to-school rally in our park. An hour later, about 50 people gathered for movie night: children, seniors, people with disabilities, families, and volunteers. Then, multiple gunshots rang out. Individuals fired multiple rounds at a young person coming from an area of the store, and a young boy was shot. Children were crying. Older adults were running for cover. Bullets do not recognize property lines. Our fence cannot protect a child from gunfire. And this was not isolated. In early June, there was a stabbing at or around the store. A day later, a shooting. Between these incidents are conditions we experience continually: drinking, smoking, profanity, arguing, fighting, and loitering along the west side of the store. The odor of marijuana carries into our park daily. Intoxicated individuals accost park participants. Vehicles recklessly screech from the parking lot. We find liquor bottles, lottery tickets, cigars, trash, and debris in and around our park. This is not one incident, it is a pattern. Now, after years of these conditions, a fence mysteriously has been installed on the west side of the store. We acknowledge that as a step in the right direction, but a fence is a barrier. It is not a solution to the behavior. It does not address intoxication, does not address fighting, loitering, reckless driving, or violence. On Friday, I called a company to remove a tree on that side of the street, and I was told we don't do service in that area. We're investing our time, money, and energy to reclaim this neighborhood. So how can we revitalize it when businesses are unwilling even to come here? This is not an attack on a business because it sells alcohol. Businesses have rights. Our community has rights too. And this city has acted before when violence, activity associated with a business created a serious public concern.
Thank you.
So my last question to you as I go to my seat is, do we have to wait for another funeral before something is done about that liquor store? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Chandelier Yarn.
Good evening, council member, mayor, all those that are here tonight. And although it is a challenge, I would just like to do a follow-up. But before I do that, because I believe it's not going to take that much time, because it is a follow-up, there is a person by the name of Alberto who have lost their ID. I have it, okay. And also, this is part of community, right? And showing support and being there for each other. And so in that follow-up, those council members do have the follow-up, are simply just a handout with the idea that I had proposed several weeks ago at the other council meeting regarding Ojibwe Island and beautifying it. Now that we have everything set in motion, we're talking about continue on with the beautification of the project, flowers, if you will, that will hopefully be implemented next year, possibly. I hear that that's a great plan and that may be a possibility. Also, words of affirmation like you're enough, welcome, joy, peace, kindness, all those things that I'm believing as a Saginaw citizen represents the Saginaw Awesome. We win. Even in the fact that we may not agree on everything, we can agree that we are Saginaw citizens. And together, we're going to work to build and be that community that it really is Saginaw Awesome. Not Saginaw nasty, but Saginaw Awesome. And we as citizens, we want that. So since we want that, we're going to build the kingdom together to make sure that when we stand before others and other communities or other cities, we can awesomely say we are Saginaw Awesome, because awesome things can happen when we what? Work together to build up each other, to make sure that communication is key and that we agree to be Saginaw Awesome once again. Also, last but not least, some good news for you all. I was talking to Phil because we back there in the overflow, and sometimes our Wi-Fi is in and sometimes it's out. But hopefully, by this coming September, within a couple weeks in September, we'll be back at Saginaw, the Saginaw where we usually have the meetings at. So that's a great positive note. We'll just use positive energy that everything is fixed, like the elevator and all the other things that will help us as a community get back to being in a bigger facility. Oh my goodness. And as well as there's room and there's space and it's cool. So you all have a good night. You got pulse, you got purpose. Let's make Saginaw awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Teresina Jackson.
Good evening, Council. My name is Teresina Jackson. I am an education advocate in Saginaw County, as well as a community advocate and a mother of an autistic child. I am here tonight because my son was found safely, but the circumstances surrounding his disappearance yesterday revealed a gap in our emergency response system that I cannot ignore. I believe the issue extends beyond my family. My autistic child went missing from my family's care in the early morning on yesterday. A concerned citizen called 911 at approximately 7:56 a.m. That same citizen called again at approximately 8 a.m. seeking additional support. My son is 9 years old. He presents to be around 5 to 7. He was in a baseball cap, no shirt, underwear, and flip-flops. When I later contacted dispatch, I was told an officer was not immediately dispatched to the scene because another call had been prioritized, and that this is standard protocol. Officers were eventually dispatched and arrived at approximately 8:30 a.m. I want to be very clear here tonight. I am not here to criticize the responding officers. I am grateful for their service and for the safe return of my child. But I need to clarify something this evening. My child was not located by law enforcement. He was found by a concerned citizen who was able to contact me after my son provided the information. That is how we reunited. My son has been taught how to respond to the proper authorities or someone he is comfortable with to provide his address, phone number, and my contact information. Initially, he would not do that. He does not have a recurring issue of elopement. This is the second time in 5 years since we have resided in Saginaw County. So this is not an issue of child neglect or parental neglect or anything of that sort. My concern is with the dispatch process and how emergency calls involving vulnerable children are prioritized, especially when multiple calls are received within minutes of each other. This is not only about my son, it is about autistic children and other children with disabilities who may not respond to their name, may not recognize danger, may have communication challenges, or may continue moving farther away as he did instead of seeking help. In those moments, time is critical. I don't want to fathom what would have happened to my child had that second call not been made. I understand that dispatch centers must make difficult decisions and manage multiple emergencies at one time. I understand that resources are limited. So I am not asking why wasn't someone sent immediately. I am asking what we can do better. How can we ensure that when a child is missing and with known vulnerabilities is reported And when a concerned citizen calls for backup for additional support within minutes, they are not expected to secure the child or take on that responsibility. The information is clearly factored into urgency and response decisions. How can we strengthen communication?
Stop, point of order. Wrap it up.
How can we strengthen communication between dispatch, law enforcement, and families so the
Excuse me.
context is not lost during the initial call or subsequent follow-ups? How can we make sure protocols reflect real risks faced by autistic children and disabled people when they go missing? I want to acknowledge that Governor Whitmore put into act the Rowans Act, House Bill 4517 and 4518, recognize the need to improve response time for missing children with special needs. My child is home safe, and I am deeply grateful for the outcome, but there needs to be a change. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jeffrey Bowles.
Good evening, council, city staff, the public. Grateful to be here. As you know, I've reached out to council this week in anticipation of today's vote on the ordinance. As you all know, Saginaw CAP doesn't support this ordinance for many reasons. I'll go through a couple of them. Number one is due process. Residents should receive clear notice and meaningful opportunity to challenge allegations before penalties are imposed. So if somebody's at a party, this ordinance doesn't call for due process. It just punishes you right away. And it punishes people that are there that may have not done anything. It's a collective punishment, which if you have one person that actually did something and everybody else gets in trouble, that's unconstitutional. Number two, the standards are very vague. Terms such as the name of the ordinance, nuisance, it has to be defined way more than it is in the ordinance. It's literally maybe a paragraph. Disproportionate impact, I just mentioned that. If you got 100 people at a party and you got one person with a gun, per this ordinance, everybody there gets charged. That's unconstitutional, which speaks to third-party conduct. Again, you're punishing the many for maybe the few. And this speaks to civil liberties, accountability. There's no transparent enforcement data in this ordinance. And finally, there are better alternatives, and I've spoken to you all, or at least most of you, about this. You don't need this ordinance to do the things that you say you want to do with this ordinance. There's nothing in this ordinance that's not already against the law. You're just repeating, and you're piling on, and you don't need to do that. And so I implore you, I know you're voting on it tonight, so this is my last plea, my earnest plea with you, from Saginaw CAP to ACLU and other organizations that have reached out to you and told you that this is unconstitutional. Don't have too much pride. Don't have too much pride. Vote it down. Start over. We can do a better job with this. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Alberto Tenayuki.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Alberto Tenayuki, and I'm here to speak on the nuisance ordinance. I would like to ask City Council to reconsider their last vote on this ordinance. You voted 7 against, 7 to 1 to pass it. I think it's going to be a big mistake, as I come here to address it on the part as I'm one of the protesters that are always out there. This ordinance, the way it's written out, could be an overreach on us, where I know for a fact the chief has told me that the businesses around there don't like us there because they say we hurt their business. Well, I've been a lifelong resident here. A lot of the businesses there that have been hurt even before we started protesting. For example, where Robbie D's is. How many restaurants have been in that spot where the old Subway was? So you can't blame it on the protesting, that's the issue. But what gives me the issue the most, we had an issue where we had a man show up armed with a pistol. We only had 3 women there. Scared the living heck out of them. I brought it up to the chief. He said there was no win-win there because it was legal for the guy to have a pistol. Chief didn't think it was okay, but his words were, it's legal. So I told the chief, well, that's the message I'll give to the other protesters. If you have a permit to carry a gun, it's not okay to bring it, but it's legal if this is what's going to make you feel better. But my point being is, as the ACLU has already made a comment on this ordinance, and I believe I stand with what they say, because that protesting is one of our biggest rights that we have as citizens, whether we're Republican, Democrat, or independent. And if we're going to let those rights be taken away from us, we're in big trouble. As it is, we got the guy at the top doing a lot, ignoring the law, bypassing whatever judges say. Are we going to let that start happening here in our city now? Are you going to tell us what we can wear, what we can do? I don't think so. If you look around, you look at these citizens, I don't think that's the life they want. They want to be listened to. They want to be heard. They want to see you, the council, doing what they put you there for, is what they want. And I think you want the same thing. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker is Carla Lamar.
Good evening. I'm Carla Lamar. I am the chair of the Planning Commission for the City of Saginaw, and I'm pleased to provide you a brief overview of the proposed data center ordinance. First, I'd like to thank the Planning Commission members for their time, thoughtful discussion, and careful review of the ordinance. I would also like to sincerely thank the city staff for the research, technical assistance, drafting, revisions, and continued work that went into developing this ordinance. Data centers are a unique and increasingly significant land use. They can have substantial demands for electricity and natural gas, water and wastewater capacity, cooling systems and broadband infrastructure, large-scale buildings and utility infrastructure, but they can also create impacts related to noise, heat, 24 operations, traffic, and compatibility with surrounding properties. The purpose of the ordinance is to establish clear standards so that Saginaw can support technological and economic development while protecting neighborhoods, infrastructure, environmental resource, and quality of life. Data centers would be identified as a special land use in both I-1 light industrial and I-2 general industrial districts. Principal use data centers would go through zoning administrator and review and planning commission special land use review. A small on-site data center could qualify as an ancillary use if it serves only the property owner or tenant, providing no off-site services and occupying no more than 10% of the building footprint and is not in a separate building. The ordinance requires substantial information before an application can even be considered, which includes a project narrative and operational plan, a good neighbor policy addressing sound, lighting, traffic, litter, and complaint response, detailed water consumption and cooling information, wastewater and energy service reports, an initial third-party sound study, tree preservation and reforestation plans, waste disposal and decommissioning plans, heat mitigation and emergency management plans. Applicants would also be required to hold at least 2 neighborhood meetings, provide mail notice to property owners and homeowners association within a half a mile, and provide at least 15 days notice, posting information at the project site and maintaining an online project website. The protections would also include for this ordinance a 500-foot separation from residential zoning districts, residential uses, and other sensitive uses. Sound mitigation based on professional acoustic studies with a maximum of 55 decibels at the nearest residential or sensitive property line. The data center would bear the cost of requiring undergrounding of applicable electrical infrastructure. A post-construction sound study within 30 days of occupancy or completion, annual sound studies for 5 additional years, advance public notice of routine property generator operation generally limited from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and excluding holidays. In closing, the summary of the ordinance gives Saginaw a clear and consistent defensible framework for evaluating data centers and establishes expectations before an approval, provides meaningful opportunities for community input, and creates ongoing requirements after construction.
All right, Carla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Cassie Zimmerman.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's really nice to see your faces. So I'm back, so expect to see me again. I just wanted to quickly, I didn't know there was going to be so many people signed up, but I wanted to quickly remind you guys about Neighbor Day. Hopefully you've seen this flyer around or heard about it. So we've been working really hard at the city with the neighborhood associations to pull them all together so that we can have one big community celebration. We're having the first annual Neighbor Day this coming Saturday. It's Saturday, August 22nd from 1 to 5. I have a bunch more flyers out here for anybody who's interested. We're going to have free food. The neighborhood associations are going to share about what they do, what makes them special, the types of ways that you can get involved with your neighborhood associations. We're going to have a school supply giveaway. That's in partnership with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. We also have the Best Kept Yard Awards that Scenic does every year that will be at this event, as well as 4 new awards: Youth Mentorship, Community Leadership, Good Samaritan, and Entrepreneurship and Excellence. So lots of games, food, and a good time this Saturday. It's at Hoyt Park from 1 to 5. Hope to see you there.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Betsy DePerry.
Hi, I'm Betsy DePerry. I'm here as president of the Old Town Saginaw Association, and I really want to thank the city for keeping the parking lot open during construction down there. It's really helped the businesses. And I also want to thank the city for doing all it can to work with the businesses. My husband and I know all too well that even the best planned schedules in construction sometimes don't always go according to plan. And the business owners, it's no secret, it's impacted them. It's no question. But they have ready access to city engineering and the site manager, and they really appreciate that. So I know that everybody is really doing the very best they can to work with them. We're kind of like a little family down there. We moan and groan among each other, but we also get together and really do everything we can to support each other. And that's what the businesses are doing for each other. So I would just encourage people to use that beautiful city parking lot. You got red or blue arrows going through the alley next to the brunch guy. Get there, hang a right. It'll take you right over to Hancock, and you can get to the businesses, and I know they would appreciate it. So if y'all want to come over there and help out the local businesses, I know that they would appreciate it, and really small businesses are the backbone of this city. So thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Randy Keith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Randy Keith, and I want to thank the council for providing us with this opportunity to speak this evening. I'm here to speak about the nuisance gathering ordinance. I'm the chair of the Community Action Program for UAW Local 668 right over on Washington. We used to be known as Gray Iron. These days we're known as Saginaw Metal Cast. I know recently the council was given an opportunity to tour our facility. Show of hands, anybody tour? Wonderful. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for seeing who we are and getting an idea of what we do. My concerns about the ordinance, I just wanted to give you a couple examples and see if I can maybe get some answers. The UAW in 2019 went on strike for 41 days. So for 41 days, 24 hours a day, we were outside the plant. It was fairly cold. We had burn barrels to stand around. We also played music to keep our spirits up. After 41 days, you can imagine, it was not a whole lot of fun. Could we, under this ordinance, or under some interpretation of this ordinance, could we have been in violation? I'd also like to ask about, as another example, we partnered with the United Way recently and did a food truck at our local over on our Farmer Street. People were lined up for many, many blocks. Some stayed overnight to get the opportunity to get food for themselves and their families. Could, under a broad interpretation of this, could they have been in violation? Would they have been considered a nuisance? Are there any exceptions or exclusions, or was there any consideration for our activities? Just curious. My worry is that we're painting with a very broad brush without a consideration for the ramifications of this, not just today, but 5, 10, 20 years from now. Who will interpret this on the floor, on the street? We won't be there to see it. Just wanted to mention that it is a very broad stroke. There is a lot of activity in the community. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michael Thompson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It looks like there's some organized opposition to the tax caps proposal in November. You may have seen the Review magazine from last Thursday. I'll have some outside after the meeting. But you have organized opposition now. And so that's their newspaper. This is your newspaper. What I received at the forum when I went in June. And a lot of the criticism in here, some of it's unfair, but a lot of it's based on what's in here. For some reason, you keep putting in here that you're living on a 1979 income. And they just pick it up and run with it. And they're going to hurt you in the election if you don't stop with it. I would suggest, this is the part on the bottom of the front page, I just suggest taking that out. Don't go through all the history. Whether the tax caps caused all the police to get laid off, all the firemen, whether the tax caps caused the recreation to get defunded. I don't think they did. They weren't that big at the time. But if you keep putting this in your info and mail it out, I think you're going to lose votes on account of it instead of gaining them. Now, back to my address on August 3rd, that you should say something to question what ICE did in that raid. Do not need to be the proposal that was on the table in February. Any one of you can make a resolution if you choose. I'm just encouraging you to do something instead of just sitting back and seeing this happen, because you know it was wrong and it could happen in the city before you know it. Thank you for the time for these.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Salim Manan.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. My name is Salim Manan, and I'm compelled to come today before you. And I think most of the people here have missed this. But to me, it's one of the most significant things that have happened in the history of our city. And I'm talking about the planning commission meeting that you guys had concerning that liquor store on Cumberland. I'm proud of the mayor, Lamar, the chairman,
my friend Tobias Young, and what you did at that meeting, most people should have saw that. You have no idea what they did. You had a store over there that's derelict on Cumberland and Holland. They don't paint the store, they don't do nothing. They abuse the people over there. Cheap alcohol, cheap liquor, they sell one cigarette to the people, and they treat the people like dirt. They don't want to take the bottles, and when you bring the bottles in, they want to tell you don't get the money, you got to buy something in the store. It's all messed up. But then they came to them and asked them to let them build a gas station. And you should go on the website, you should go and hear what their response was. If you want to see leadership, you displayed leadership. I'm so proud of you. I just wish I had been there. I get cut off when I talk about this issue. But my family has suffered so much from alcohol and drugs. 14 members in my family. I'm born in Detroit. Alcohol, I did it. Heroin, cocaine, I did it. I got 7 brothers and sisters. 2 of them died last year, and they never got off of it. They suffered. Their children is suffering because they consume alcohol. Now, you want to know why I'm passionate about it and I won't stop? Because I'm not going to accept it. One of the ladies at our committee meeting just recently said, well, if they doing it and they drinking it and they using dope, let them kill themselves. Now, that's the reason why it's growing, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We don't have a vision beyond that, and that hurts. Why does it hurt? Because it's the children that suffer. We don't see them. I work with them at Houghton Jones. I work with them at Jesse Rouse. I work with these kids that are impacted by that, and I was a kid and suffered. I don't want nobody to go through what I went through. No child. But if we allow them to permeate our community, and most of these liquor stores and dope houses is where we are concentrated. So what did that tell you? They have a plan. They come to get your resources, and they come to eliminate you. Now, the important thing that you brought up, there were many important things. You have to go and hear it. One of the things they brought, where's the owner? The owner didn't even show up, don't have the respect to come before these people because he's afraid. He know what he's doing is not right. And he didn't even come, and y'all brought that up. I love you, and I thank you for what you did at that meeting.
Okay.
I'm throwing everything down.
Thank you for knowing what was falling down.
Bob. Chief Ruth.
I don't know how it's on. I'm just gonna leave him.
We move him to the outside.
Here?
Yeah.
Come on, sir, we gotta go. Why don't you grab your bag and all the other stuff? Under what grounds? I'm asking you to leave. The mayor asked you to leave, you're being disorderly. Leave now. You go to jail.
Excuse me, the radio up on the podium, or the mic, I'm sorry, can somebody come and adjust it? It keeps falling.
That's Mr. Carmody. I think it's with Michigan Public Radio. The mic keeps falling off. If he's in the audience, could he come and remove it?
Mike, we need you. Our tripod won't stay standing.
Let me get that nasty thing out.
I know nothing about this.
That's fine, I barely do.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tony Mann.
Thank you, council members, for having me. My name is Tony Mann, president of UAW Local 668, and I'm speaking against this ordinance. I'm speaking against this ordinance for one particular reason in general, and that is because the ordinance is too broad. Not only am I a UAW president, but I'm also a national negotiator and a contract negotiator as well. What is set before us, this language is too broad and leaves too many open doors and too many empty spaces for our rights to be violated. I believe that we should be more focused on bringing jobs into Saginaw and keeping our younger folks off the street in a more positive way than putting more laws in place that restrict not only the younger folks, but also the community as a whole. So that is why I'm against this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Aaron Lynch.
Hi, my name is Erin. No exciting job title, but I was born here in Saginaw. Have been here most of my life and really happily live on the east side right now. And I just wanted to say regarding the new nuisance ordinance, I think it's a really bad idea. I think relations between the police and the community are already very strained, and we don't need to make tensions higher. Like, remember when you guys, not probably you guys, but remember when you guys, when whatever funding the police ordinance didn't pass, so you guys decided that the best way to raise money for the city was to pull people over for little nuisances, like one brake light out. You guys all remember. I got pulled over twice in one day once over piddly stuff, and they were ticketing everyone. And no one trusted the police. No one was happy to see them. Like, I will bring up the street corner with the protests again, because two of those women were my best friends and a young woman I've known since she was a baby. And I see a large white man with a pistol right here going up to her and going, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." And her backing up saying, "I don't want to, sir, I don't want to, sir." And him getting it closer and closer. And yeah, they said somebody wanted to call the police, and they were told, "Go ahead, the cops are on our side." And sure enough, when the cops got there, this man did not have a license plate on his vehicle. And the cops told them he was expressing his Second Amendment rights. Now, we all have a right to walk around with a gun if we don't to. None of us have a right to walk through streets where there aren't guns anymore, but you can legally walk around with a gun. What you can't do is go up to people and say, "You can't touch me, you can't touch me, or I'm gonna have to shoot you." And I'm going to also say, this was a young black woman, she wasn't Latina. This was a white man. If that had been reversed and that man had gotten into a car without a plate, he would be in jail. But the cops let this man go without even a warning, nothing about his plates, barely listened to the women that this man was menacing. And that's something, like, I don't feel like the police always have great judgment. I don't feel like we need to escalate tensions. I don't feel like people need to be jailed for 72 hours on suspicion of a misdemeanor. None of us need that. All the laws that need to be enforced are already on the books. Let's do it ethically. Let's think about, instead of opening the city up to millions of dollars in lawsuits, maybe building some third spaces for the kids to hang out together safely.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nicole Hubble. Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. This is my first time speaking at Council as a working mother in this community who stays informed. I urge you to vote no on the proposed nuisance gathering ordinance. While I share the desire to eliminate violence and protect our streets, this ordinance compromises the constitutional rights of all citizens. We cannot allow the pressure to do something to result in bad, overly punitive policies that target our communities. First, this ordinance establishes guilt by association due to its vague wording by making it a misdemeanor to simply attend a gathering that is later deemed a nuisance. The city then criminalizes proximity rather than behavior. As the ACLU of Michigan has warned, someone at a peaceful graduation party, church function, or family memorial could face a $500 fine and 90 days in jail simply because someone else chose to act out. Not to mention the local businesses in our community that will also be fined when some have zero control over the gatherings or how they form. Furthermore, the ordinance relies on subjective metrics like excessive noise. This threatens our First Amendment rights to gather, protest, or hold community vigils. This ordinance is too broad. Second, this local overreach attempt mirrors a dangerous trend towards mass surveillance in our community. I'm also asking the council to halt and oppose the expansion of flock cameras. While pitched as a crime-fighting tool, flock cameras build a massive data dragnet that tracks, logs, and stores the movements of every single law-abiding citizen in Saginaw, while Michigan currently has no binding statewide safeguards to protect against data leaks or tracking system abuses by hackers and law enforcement alike. Our residents should be able to drive to work, go to the doctor, or visit a neighbor without their daily routines being permanently cataloged in a private company's database with zero protections on how that data is used. True community safety means protecting all of our residents from over-policing, which is why I also call on this council to officially oppose ICE operating within our city limits and consider Angel Gomez's proposed measures from the last city council meeting. Like the flock cameras and the nuisance ordinance, federal ICE enforcement relies on tracking and profiling that tears apart families and instills fear in our neighborhoods. Saginaw should be a welcoming community. Our local city resources should never be used to assist federal agencies in harassing our immigrant neighbors or turning our streets into a surveillance dragnet for private data collection to be sold to the highest bidder. In conclusion, Saginaw already has smart constitutional laws on the books to address reckless behavior and violent crime. We do not need a new unconstitutional layer of law. We do not need a dystopian web of tracking cameras. We do not need federal ICE overreach in our neighborhoods. I urge the council to vote no on the nuisance ordinance tonight, pull back on the flock cameras, and stand up for civil liberties for all in this community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tammy Davis.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Good evening.
Councilmen and women, community. I was tasked to stand here and talk to you about the ordinance that is potentially going to be in place. If you would have asked me, probably even earlier today, what my decision was, I would have probably said yes and or no. Right now I stand before you and I'm a little perplexed. I've listened to both sides concerning this ordinance, and I've also taken the time to look at what is already in place. Yes, some of the things that are noted in this ordinance does show up in other city ordinances that we all can agree on. So, is it that we need to make a decision right this moment? What is it that makes it so crucial that we need to decide right now? So maybe we need to revisit the language in this ordinance. Maybe we need to tighten it and make sure we're not simply duplicating what already exists. But what I will stand here and tell you is that I am all about two things: accountability and prevention. I'm not going to stand before you and pretend like we don't have a nuisance problem here in Saginaw. We absolutely do. But I'm also not going to stand here and pretend like we don't have a lack of accountability problem here in Saginaw as well. Accountability has to exist across every board. If you know me, then you know I'm never going to be totally against law enforcement. I myself work in law enforcement, and so does some of my children. So I have to see things on both sides of the fence. I'm a mother of children who wear the uniform. What I wanted to do is bring about this. Yes, we do have to hold police accountable for their actions. But is that to say that we're not supposed to hold business owners and property owners to the same responsibilities? No, a birthday party isn't a nuisance, but my grandson not able to ride his bicycle 2 squares down a sidewalk because there's a drug house that a landlord won't address. He just keeps putting additional drug addicts in that house. Should I not address that there is a nuisance problem because Granny's birthday party wasn't a nuisance, but a church can't have a place where children can play safely because a parking lot is full of people causing nuisance. So again, I think we just need to revisit this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Danita Dorsey.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Danita Dorsey, and this is my 4th time standing before you regarding the proposed nuisance gathering ordinance. I want to begin by making something very clear. I support public safety. I want our neighborhoods safe. I want our children safe. I want our residents protected. And when gatherings become violent, destructive, or dangerous, I absolutely believe the city has a responsibility to act. But supporting public safety does not mean we should support any ordinance presented in the name of public safety. For 4 meetings, I have raised concerns and asked questions about this proposal, and I am troubled that I have still not received satisfactory answers to many of those concerns. Now we are not just hearing concerns from residents. The ACLU of Michigan has urged this council to reject this ordinance because of serious constitutional concerns. FIRE, another national organization about civil liberties, has also raised concerns. Council members, that should give us pause. When civil liberties organizations are warning that legislation may go too far, the responsible thing to do is not to rush it through. The responsible thing is to listen, examine it again, and get it right. I continue to ask a fundamental question. What does this ordinance allow the city to address that our existing ordinances in Michigan law do not already allow us to address? We already have laws addressing violence. We already have laws addressing weapons and property destruction. We already have ordinances dealing with excessive noise, disorderly conduct, obstruction, and other conduct that threatens public safety. If the problem is that our existing laws are not being adequately enforced, then passing another ordinance does not solve an enforcement problem. And if there are specific gaps in our existing laws, then identify those gaps for the public. Show us precisely what cannot be addressed today and craft legislation narrowly tailored to address those problems. What we should not do is adopt language so broad that peaceful citizens could potentially be swept into a law intended to address violent or dangerous behavior. We should never have to choose between public safety and civil liberties. Good public policy protects both. So tonight, I am respectfully but firmly asking this council, do not pass this ordinance in its current form. Send it back to the table. And this time, bring the community to the table. Bring residents, bring neighborhood leaders, bring young people, bring law enforcement, bring legal experts and civil liberties advocates. Let us clearly identify the actual behaviors causing harm in our community and develop a targeted solution that gives law enforcement the tools they genuinely need without giving government unnecessarily broad authority over peaceful gatherings and constitutionally protected activity. There is no shame in reconsidering this ordinance. There is no weakness in saying we heard the community, we listened to the concerns, and we can do better. And you cannot tell us how the police will interpret it if it is not explicitly written into the language. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final speaker is Rebecca Brothers.
I'm here today to speak against the nuisance ordinance. Let me start by saying that your lack of transparency in this process, along with countless others, because you all know what you did with Flock, speaks volumes as to what you embody as a council. Every one of you knows that this is unconstitutional, but you don't care because it fits your agenda of keeping the people of Saginaw oppressed. As a protester and community organizer, I see this as a clear attempt to silence those of us who wish to exercise our First Amendment rights, and I refuse to accept such blatant discrimination. Shame on you, Council, for rather than taking the steps to make your community members actually feel safer and more heard, you continue to treat them as though they are unworthy by putting into effect, without any community input, a various slew of unnecessary rules and enforcement that leave all of us questioning who is actually fighting for the people here. This city deserves a council who is willing to put in work, engage in open dialogue with community members and organizers about the city's actual needs. And this council fails across the board in regards to its level of transparency. Do better.
Thank you.
Mayor, that takes us to remarks of council.
And tonight we will begin with Councilman Braddock. You two have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Hope everybody can hear me that's here is back. I'm glad I had somewhere to sit because I didn't have nowhere to park. But I would say I just like to appreciate I like to see that everyone here giving the input, listening to the input that the community is saying is very important. Wish we had this on a lot more issues and we can hear more from the public on a lot of different things because it is important to hear from the public and how they feel about the decision that we make up here. I would say being up here at this table though, there are many challenges. We have to protect our young, our youth. We have to look out for our seniors. We have to look out for our community. I remember having a conversation with someone a long time ago talking about the seatbelt law. You know, and remember when the seatbelts came along back, I remember being a little kid, we can almost stand up in the car, but people started dying, right? You know, and so they created a law to where you got a seatbelt, you get a ticket. In your own space, in your own car, what you pay for, you pay insurance for, in your own space. And so I think, you know, listening to all the comments, and like I said, I appreciate it. Nobody's here at this table are y'all enemy. We want to look for the best, and I can speak for myself, want to look for the best solution possible to ensure that our community is safe, that our youth can have a place where they can develop and grow. And so we know the implied task here in our community. We have a few organizations that's here. You got CAP, you got HELP, that a lot of organizations that's put in a lot of work in our community. And I just think that it needs to be more work to be done. We need more people involved. We do have a nuisance problem. People are dying when they're gathering. People are shooting when they're gathering. So let's not act like that does not exist. But also, too, we have to hear from the people and understand that there's other solutions that we're making to move on, and there's other opportunities and so forth and so on. So, but like I said, I like to see that everyone is here. We're not your enemies at this table. I'm not your enemy. I'm here to listen and make the better decision based on what we see moving forward. It's good to get input on outside, you know, on outside communities, but I was born and raised in Saginaw, and I know a lot of people here, and I almost know everything that's going on. And so we know that some people here know who's after who and who's beefing. And so we have to look in my position, I have to look and say what we're going to do to help protect our citizens and what those decisions be. And so, like I said, we're not your enemy. I love y'all, and you know, I appreciate the input, and we hear you. I hear you. So that's all I have to say, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Councilwoman Wiggins.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to begin, I just do want to say congratulations to Greater Williams Temple Church of God in Christ. They're celebrating 100 years in our community. I think that's something that should be recognized and celebrated, so congratulations to them. And also, this past weekend, we had the 58th year for the Black Arts Festival, the African Arts Festival. It was a beautiful, beautifully put together event, very organized, and it was a wonderful addition to our community every year. So thank you to all of the organizers on that. I appreciate also all of the speakers tonight. Of course, we hear your passion and your heart, and that is an important part of what we do up here, because this is all of our city, and it is important to hear your input. Yes, there is a nuisance problem. There is a roving party problem in the city of Saginaw. And there is a violence and death issue in the city of Saginaw when those parties occur. There's a problem when those parties do move from place to place and causes businesses to lock their doors because they are scared. The people that are working there are scared. So there is a problem here in this city, and I understand and hear all of the outlying and overreaching concerns. about this nuisance ordinance. And to be able to take a moment and take a step back and possibly, revisit, that is an important option to something that we have here in this room and at this table to do. So again, I appreciate that. And, I keep hearing that we need to do something for the youth so that these things don't happen. These parties are happening after 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning. There is no organization in the city of Saginaw that's going to throw a party for youth at 2 o'clock in the morning. So that is not an answer. But, collectively listening to possibilities and answers that can be feasibly constructed and put together, along with organizations in this community, along with parenting, along with our police force, along with mentorship. It is a big, big ask. And we're trying to do the best we can up here. And we appreciate your input, so thank you.
Next, we have Councilwoman Hammond, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And sincerely thank you to everyone for coming out at this meeting. I have never seen a council meeting with this level of attendance, with this many speakers signed up. And thank you all for coming and expressing, whether you're wearing a t-shirt or you had your voice heard or you came to the podium. It's greatly appreciated. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to take everything that we heard tonight and revisit this issue, considering the concerns and the priorities and the problems that have been outlined by the speakers tonight, what we've been hearing and engaging in dialogue. This is exactly the kind of process that we could engage before or during constructing an ordinance alongside with the community that I would like to see. And it's a fact, people are concerned, and it's a true concern about large gatherings that sometimes get out of hand in the city of Saginaw. We have Saginaw police officers that oftentimes lack the resources to respond to these nuisance gatherings as they pop up. And now we are looking at a resource shortfall, where oftentimes there are not enough police to chase around gatherings that pop up over here, pop up over here. It is a problem. However, there are a lot of potential solutions that could address this violence without declaring these gatherings that some may characterize as nuisances and creating an over-enforcement issue. We could collaborate with our 911 dispatchers to create better processes. We could include our CVI organizations in that response to say, we have heard about this gathering of youth. Can you come help us out the second that there's a 911 call that happens? We could initiate a central youth event planning committee that makes sure that planned safe environments are happening alongside known issues, known essentially opportunities throughout the year. Whether that's, we got proms, we want to make sure there's an after prom. Whether that's a fireworks festival, we want to make sure there's a safe family area for people to gather that has cotton candy and all the fun things that people want to experience at a fireworks festival, rather than people, congregating in their own, and you got kids without supervision. I think we can build on the progress that we have seen. We've seen event organizers step up in recent years, oftentimes, and reach out to the city for support to create an environment of safety. I think we can build on that process. I think that the ramifications of this ordinance as it is written could lead to avoidance of police rather than engagement with police. I think that it's our opportunity, it is our job as city council to be legislators and have processes, take our time, revisit when we need to, and make sure that we are not creating more problems in an attempt to try to find a solution. So we can put in the work for our residents to do this right. I believe in this council to be able to show up in the right way and to invite all of you back for conversations moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Young.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And I'm going to hold my comments on the nuisance, because I know we'll be discussing that soon later. So I want to start with something that's been dear to my heart, is this liquor store conversation, because a lot of the things I work on is not for popularity or attention. I know what the community needs. So just like we had this shooting on Thursday, Nobody in this room talked about it, and we've gotten so desensitized with what's going on with them that we don't even mention it anymore. So thank you, Pastor Tatum, for bringing that up, because and also Mr. Manan, who brought it up, because I rode by when that incident actually happened, because I was going to the Saginaw African Cultural Festival Thursday to set up the electrical, and I seen everything taped off. And the next day, I even messaged all of the council members, and I also messaged staff, and that's something I had been working on back when they used to have a couch sitting in the parking lot at the Stop and Shop. So I was talking about that then 7 months ago, and with Scenic, they have been called a Liquor Control Commission, and my issue is that we have to have liquor stores in our community. You know, I'm not holier than thou, but if I walk in the liquor store, I'm going in the ones that greet me and treat me as a human being and not a second-class citizen. And if we're over the amount, I want to make the ones that don't treat us properly and operate properly in our community so difficult to operate that way that we can get rid of those, and we'll just have the ones that treat you like citizens and take care of the parking lots and such. So that's something that I've been constantly working on, even up to 2 days ago. And also, with the Elks, they have left now, but the comment that they made about their parking lot, and I understand what they're saying too, and I'm not against anything I'm not against the police, but I have had nightclubs and businesses here too, and when you see certain businesses where they're policed, they show their presence as a deterrent while the business is operating, and it operates nice. But then certain businesses, they'll park 2 or 3 blocks away so they can respond faster. And even with that organization, I think they do a really good job, and maybe an adjustment in how they're policed, ride through the parking lot or ride by instead of having to, respond, because here in Saginaw, you only have about 3 or 4 places that everybody's going to be at a certain time. So that wouldn't be a stretch on resources to show up there through the night to prevent some things. So we just have to make some adjustments on how we patrol the businesses as well. So thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilwoman Seals.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to say that it's really good to see the citizens of Saginaw and the surrounding areas here today. I wish we can have this every time we have a city council meeting. You guys don't stop the momentum. Keep this. Don't just come here when you have an issue. Come here to keep issues from happening. Be a part of the solution. And so I thank you for being here, because you're saying today that I want to be a part of the solution. And that's what we need as a community. 9 people can't make these decisions by themselves. It takes all of us. We always it takes a village to raise a child. So we are the village. So we have to start acting like it and becoming it together. And so I appreciate seeing everyone today, because this shows me that we are a community and we can do this together. The co-founder of La Mission, and I know I said that wrong, but she said something powerful: judge us by our work. And so I would appreciate and thank the ones that have been judging what we're doing up here by our work. Don't just judge us by our words, guys, because talk is cheap. So your actions will speak louder than your words. And so, like I said the last meeting, some of us are out here actually doing the work. I work with kids every day. Every day I work with kids, all kids from 0 to 99, because you can still be a child at heart and be an adult. So I work with a lot of children. So there's a lot of people out here working with kids. There are programs out here for our kids. We just need to know where they are and take advantage of those opportunities for our children. Get them to those programs. Get them to the places where they are safe. Know where your child is in the evenings. Like I said, it takes a village, guys. It takes all of us to do this. Ms. Dorsey said something powerful too. She said good public policy protects both. It protects not only us, it protects our children, it protects the policy itself, it protects our city, but it also protects our citizens. So we're here to make policies because our job is to protect you guys and also our community. So please be patient with us. And also pray for us, because this right here, this work is no joke. Because we're not only just thinking about ourselves, but I live for you too. So this is my life, this is what I chose to do. And everyone that's up here, this is what we chose to do. So please give us the grace and the opportunities to get this thing right, because that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to get it right, guys. So help us get it right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Ball.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank the citizens for coming out and speaking on this important subject. We all know we have issues in the city of Saginaw. When Braddock has said something about the seat belt, you know, as a kid, I was in a car accident, and I'm the only survivor in that car accident, and I was that kid that was standing on the back of that hump in the back, and for some strange reason, I was the only survivor in that car. My grandfather and two of his friends got killed in that car. But one thing, what he was talking about, and one thing that I did at work as a pipe fitter, we had what we call preventive maintenance. That means that we would go out and fix the machine before it get break. We would go out and do check this, check that, make sure the filter's clean, make sure we got the correct oil in it, make sure that everything that the machine needs to run properly was there. Maybe we had to change a few tools. Unfortunately, we don't do enough preventive maintenance with our children. A lot of times we pour into them after the issues that pop up, instead of getting involved with the kid before he gets to doing the trouble. That's why I've been a member of the Big Brothers and Sisters program for 38 years. I've been a member of the health group, and I'm mentored with other organizations to help kids out. I even engaged the ones in my neighborhood, and hopefully they will not get in trouble. Out of all the little brothers that I had, only one of them got into some trouble. He marked off at the police officer. He gave him a wedgie. He's been a productive member of society ever since. But the thing is, he was listening to some of the things that I was telling him to do so he wouldn't get in trouble again. In the city of Saginaw, we have a lot of trauma. When he was mentioning about that accident, I can still feel the trauma from the accident that I experienced by losing my grandfather. Still today, after 60-something years, I can still feel that trauma. The kids in the city of Saginaw are experiencing too much trauma in their lives, and they're seeking some type of enjoyment or alcohol or drugs or something like that to make them forget about those issues that make them feel bad at times. When you don't have a father at home, or maybe your mother's addicted to alcohol and drugs. Maybe you come from 2 or 3 generations and been on welfare. And then that produces trauma too in these kids, and they're gonna find some type of way to seek some type of happiness. Kids being out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning partying is not going to help our community out any. I appreciate everybody coming here today. Maybe we need to get together and do something else to find out how we can solve some of these issues in the city of Saginaw. I've helped kids try to get in skilled trades and stuff like that, and some of them have been successful in skilled trades, and they call me back and tell me that now I'm an electrician, now I'm a pipe fitter, now I'm a carpenter, only because I engaged those guys. And we can do the same thing to make these guys get out of the trauma that they're experiencing. But when we come together like this, we need to come together again. I'm so happy to see y'all come here so we can iron this thing out. The way that the ordinance stands today, I won't vote on it. So thanks for showing up.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Ostash.
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, I too want to thank everybody for coming out during today and providing your public input. If you did watch my face, I was listening to each and every one of you intently in every word that you were saying. So I'm going to save the rest of my comments about the ordinance once we get to that point, like Councilman Tobias Young said. But I do want to just kind of touch on one thing too, because one thing that people have said, well, enforce what's on the books. And one is our curfew law. And I don't know if anybody's read our curfew law that's in the room, but it is pretty strong and it has a lot of teeth. And I do agree with that. And it also holds the parent accountable for their child, for drugs and alcohol and firearms within the house. So I just wanted to make a comment about that because you asked and told us to look at things that are on the books. I have looked at things that are on the books, and I do have a list of them here. If they come up during the discussion, I will share that. On a lighter note, I would like to say and thank the Mid-Michigan Conservative Alliance group. I was told that on August 1st, they fed over 350 families in our community. So thank you. I know there's been some food drives going on. Soup Kitchen just did one as well. So, and on a lighter note, thank you to the citizens in the city that continue to help out those that need it. And that's all I have there. I'm going to save everything for last.
Thank you. Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Good evening, concerned citizens of the community. Thank you for attending your council meeting this evening. It's great to see a great crowd. I know when I first got on in 2022, the rooms were like this due to the ARPA funds. So I appreciate you guys coming out. I do want to make a note about the flat cameras. I do know in Birch Park, we have not had any murders or any killings in that area since the flat cameras came around. So that speaks volumes. I don't know, I can't say it enough. My family's been in some of these murders on these streets. And I don't know how many more kids we gotta lose for this ordinance. I don't know. I just know I'm tired of burying my family members and I don't wanna do it again. And I know there's a lot of moms in that have come here and talked about it, and we need to do something about it. These parties, they keep gathering, they're going all over, and it's hard because you got popping up here and then they go here. I will say a shout out, there was a party that they were a little bit older, they had over the weekend, and they did great. It was a large gathering, it was a great turnout. No violence, no crime, they had a good time, I could tell by the videos and things. I had family members there, and it was great to see that we can get together and do the right thing and no violence. But on another note, we know that back in May, when that young boy was murdered over here at the store, this is how the ordinance kind of came about with these large gatherings and stuff. Like I said, I go to the store frequently over there, and now the store does have a sign, no more than 10 cars in the parking lot. So I think some of these stores are trying, but they need the support as well from the community to know that we're listening and we see.
The community needs your
Right.
support.
Exactly, yes, thank you. Yes, so we are supporting these organizations and we're trying to do the right thing. But, yeah. So, anyway, sorry for the interruption. But, you know, crime is everywhere. It doesn't discriminate. The bullets don't discriminate. I remember being young at one time and there was a shootout, and I was standing by my sister's car in that window, and if I hadn't moved, I would have been killed that night. I just went to a party thinking I was going to have a fun time. I was in my 20s, and it happened downtown in the city. I wouldn't even been here. So crime does not discriminate. Those bullets don't have names on them. And let's just do the right thing for our city. Thank you.
Well, I think the citizens have said it, and you've been saying it, and believe it or not, whether you think we've been listening or not, we have been listening. The issue that we have up here is we gotta start somewhere. It may not be totally right what we might want to propose. That's where you help us. This ordinance has been laying on the table for a couple of weeks. We didn't have to wait to come in here today to hear what y'all said. I heard you loud and clear the first time. Our job is to make sure that the city is safe. Can we do it all the time? No. No, we can't. I enjoy when I get to work with the citizens. See, there's a big difference in talking and doing nothing. So many times we have opportunities for all of us to come together. And I know we don't always come. There is nothing in this city that I know of right now where the citizens have not been invited to come, even with this ordinance. Even with this ordinance. My whole thing is, it was a big deal about it 3 weeks ago. We need to stop, and I'm guilty too. We need to stop sometime procrastinating. If we got a problem, let's talk about it. Let's put it on the table. I don't need anybody feeling like she ain't listening, she ain't listening. She is listening. She's been listening. The problem is, what are we gonna do? Okay, we can go back and forth about don't approve, kick the can down the road. What are we going to do? I want to see children safe. I want them to be able to walk down the streets. I want the protesters to be able to protest. I'm a radical too. However, there is stuff in the guidelines that I don't care if you're a radical or not, you ain't gonna be able to do. Not all of this proposal is on the table, do I agree with either. But it's a start. I'll reserve the rest of my comments for that discussion. Madam Clerk.
On to reports from the manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So first, I do want to address a few of the comments. I don't know if Ms. Jackson is still here. She spoke about the 911 call. If she isn't, I did email her today. The call priorities are set by 911, but we can work with her and approach 911 and see if we can address those issues. We recently did that with fire response calls, the fire chief and I did, so we can handle that the same way. So hopefully she reaches back out to me so that we can contact 911 and express those concerns to them. Also, regarding the grants, so I just want to mention the primary source of our grants at this point is CDBG, right? So for organizations that have grants like that, it is posted on our website, application period. So encourage any organization that's looking for grants, look at that, go through the application process and submit it. That goes to an independent committee that's appointed by council for interviews, and they recommend that back to the council for approval every year. There are other grants out there that are through the state of Michigan that some of the CVIs have. Those are direct grants from the state of Michigan, not the city of Saginaw. So if there are grants that organizations are interested in that are state grants, please contact the city. We'll partner with any organization to do that if it benefits the city of Saginaw. Okay. A few of the events, a few council members mentioned, and I do want to thank these organizations as well, that we had this past weekend. African Cultural Festival, as Councilwoman Wiggins mentioned, its 58th event. Friday Night Live, Positive Results Downtown started in 1975, so they're over their 50th year. The Lawn Chair Film Festival is 23rd or 24th year. I think it started in 2003. We also had our city event, Tennis and Pickleball Day at Garber Courts. So I want to thank all of those organizations and community partners and volunteers that helped with those events. We do have events coming up this week, and actually this Wednesday is the Light Up the City, which is going to be at Ojibwe Island on August 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. And then we'll also have our Pride organization with Positive Results downtown. Again, this Friday, we have Neighbor Day that Cassie Zimmerman mentioned, August 22nd from 1 to 5 at Hoyt Park. And we also have our final play dates in the park events of the season. It's Skateboarding Day, Sunday, August 23rd from 10:45 to 1:30, right over here at the skate park. The event is free, but advance registration is required. And I want to go back to another item that we did talk about with council several meetings ago, which is the possibility of partnering with Saginaw County on our parks staffing. So as you all know, we do have a difficult time finding staffing for our parks. We have limited positions. I think it's 5 positions in Celebration Square. Right now we have, I think, 2 staff members, maybe 3, but that makes it difficult to have our restrooms open, which can be an issue for people who are at the park. So I met with Saginaw County Administrator and the County Parks Director, discussed the possibility of partnering with county to staff Celebration Park and Ojibwe Island beginning next year. And they did give us some preliminary numbers, and I think they looked pretty promising and something that would fit within our budget. They're going to bring back a formal proposal for us to consider, and I'm pretty positive about that, and I think it will work out well. So when I get that, we'll bring that back to council for consideration. I think it will fit within our budget and also give us more personnel and better coverage so that we can have Celebration Park splash pad restrooms open, Ojibwe Island restroom, and have more staff rotating through there. So that's a positive development, and we'll want to have that, any kind of agreement between the city and county would want to have that in place before the end of the year, because they start posting jobs, I think in December they mentioned. So we'll hopefully try to get that done pretty rapidly so that we can bring that back to you all for consideration. And those are the only items I have this evening, Madam Mayor.
Do we have any questions for our city manager? Thank you, city manager. Madam Clerk.
On to the consent agenda.
The agenda has been available on City Hall and on the city webpage. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, leaving room for exceptions.
So moved.
It's been moved and second. Is there any exceptions? Yes.
Number 2.
Any other exceptions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Item number 2 is to approve the amendments to the fiscal year 2027 approved budget to recognize changes that have occurred during the August period.
Councilwoman Hammond.
Thank you. I think Tim could probably answer. I just had a very basic question because I noticed that several of the items were regarding either like justice grants or police department grants. I was wondering, is there a reason why they were all co-located around like this particular time period? And are any of those monies becoming available for other uses, or is it just they're getting drawn down as time goes on and we just need to carry forward?
Okay, I think I've gotten your whole question. I was walking through the
Okay.
alleyway when you were talking. Basically, this budget adjustment, there's a couple projects that happened at the end of June that needed to be carried forward into this fiscal year. So each month, the budget office will review our expenditures, what's been spent, what needs to be covered, and the budget adjustments created based on that. So it's just this period of time, what occurred at the end of June into July. That's what how this came about.
Okay, thank you. I'll motion to approve.
Second. It's been moved and second. Any other discussion? I was trying to wait for the crowd to go out. I didn't want to be disrespectful. We thank you all for coming tonight. Okay, I'm sorry. It's been, there's a motion on the floor, it's been moved in second. Any more discussion? If no more discussion, we'll go off for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
On to board, commission, and committee reports.
Do we have any community activities that anybody wants to report out? Yes.
On the planning commission, we completed the data set of language that will be moving up to council to review. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Okay. Madam Clerk.
On to appointment of board, commission, and committee members.
We have 2 appointments, and I need a motion to approve, leaving room for exception.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any exceptions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
On to ordinance introduction, we have one there. It's to amend section 153-2.2 definitions, 153-3.1 J3 light industrial, 153-3.1 K3 general industrial, and add 153-4.34 data centers to chapter 153 zoning code title 15 land usage of the city of Saginaw Code of Ordinances O-204.
I need a motion to adopt.
Introduce.
I'm sorry, I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Discussion. That's it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
On to ordinance adoption, we have one there as well. It's an ordinance to add section 94.120 nuisance gatherings to chapter 94 nuisances, health and safety, title 4 general regulations of the City of Saginaw Code of Ordinances O-204.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Discussion. Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I just wanted to note for the record that of the 27 speakers we had today, I counted that we had 17 who expressed clearly for us to either vote no on this ordinance or for us to delay and go back to the drawing board on this ordinance. And I received several emails. Of those, I had 6 that expressed for us to vote no on this ordinance, and 2 that expressed for us to vote yes on this ordinance. That's all I have.
Any other council people? Would you like to discuss this motion?
I would like to
Yes,
discuss.
Councilman Young.
I do think that we should gather more input, and, you know, I've heard a lot of the speakers, so I understand what needs to be done. And also, as we discuss and try to put together a better nuisance that doesn't adversely affect anyone, you know, as far as the community, if you have vacant lots or stores that maybe they're congregating, you know, we still have to protect the public and protect the youth. So while we're figuring it out, help us figure it out so we can get no loitering signs. At those businesses that don't have no loitering signs, or we can go through the city and get them with no loitering signs, that will actually give the police officers the right to come onto that property if that business is closed and that's a gathering location. So that's a stopgap while we figure it out to keep, you know, any incidents from happening. So if you got an empty parking lot by your home or a business that they wait until it's closed to congregate, then as the community, let us know so that we can kind of put some things in place while we working this out, so we don't have a death or something while we litigating, because the main thing is to protect the community and the youth. So I don't want to get caught up in the committees and all of the talking here, and then it's still happening out there. So, you know, the community can help by, let's put those things in place while we figure it out. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Yes, Councilman.
I just want to double down on what he's saying as far as I would like to see our community. We know we have a nuisance problem, you know, and I think, you know, a lot of people are unpopular with us creating new ordinances or adding the ordinances, which is cool, but we do have a nuisance problem, and I would like for us to really get together as community leaders to see how can we, and learn how can we solve this problem and really get to the root of the issue, and you know, not just to put a surface, you know, not to approach it just from the surface. So I would, you know, just charging for all the, you know, the organizations and all the people that's putting in the work, because there's a lot of good work being done so far. So I just say this is one of the issues that we need to come together and see how we can solve the issues, because our youth is out there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when a lot of y'all are asleep. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Councilwoman Seals.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to ask a clarifying question. I heard a lot of people say one of the things that I heard throughout the messaging from the community today. I speak with the community every day, and not on Facebook or anything like that. I'm talking about personally speaking with individuals. And I haven't heard the messaging so no-ish until I got here today. So, but one thing I heard resonating throughout everyone's comments today was about protesting. And you guys are really concerned that you might not have the protection while you're protesting. So I'm gonna throw my comment over here. I'm gonna ask our city attorney, can you help the community, can you help us to understand how does this affect, how could this affect, or this ordinance affect protesting? Does it affect protesting, and how does it affect protesting? Because I think our citizens either don't know or don't understand, and I think they should have the right and the understanding so they can really make their own decisions also. Because some people were on the fence, but a lot of people say no here, but a lot of people I spoke with personally want this ordinance, want us to work on it. They want Saginaw safe. People are out here dying. And one thing I agree with Councilwoman Hammond is that we are here to make policy. That's our job. Okay, we're here to make policy. So as policymakers, how do we move forward in making sure that our community is safe? So does this block the protesting, because that's what they're concerned about. I didn't hear really any other type of example, but really protesting. So can you give us that clarification? Does this block protesting?
It does not. The ordinance neither expressly nor implicitly prohibits any constitutionally protected behavior. It only makes reference to illegal behavior that's already illegal. I think the concern raised by many today was the enforcement of this ordinance and how it would be applied in the field. And any law, be it local, state, or federal, has the potential to be abused in its application. But there has to be some trust that those who are charged with enforcing it are going to enforce it in a way that's proper.
Did you guys hear her? Okay.
You know, I'm sorry to say it, but they did hear you, Miss Amy. They did not hear you. They heard parts of you, and I guess it faded in and out. Y'all didn't hear none of her?
I'm hearing that they heard it, so.
Yes, Council. Did you have a question? Oh.
I'd like to hear it again right here. They'd like to hear it said again. They couldn't hear you. Sir.
Control the meetings.
Okay. So I would like to reference what Councilwoman is talking about, and the attorney just talked about as well. It's our constitutional right to protest. No, give it, to peacefully protest. The peacefully part is the key question. So in the city of Saginaw, we have a noise ordinance which says you cannot amplify music or sound over 50, or to be heard over 50 feet. So how is that, where's the balance there? So there are laws in place. You look at people that are protesting, it's normally, they're carrying signs. If the signs are vulgar and language is on those signs, we have another ordinance in place that says you cannot present that in the public because the minors and the children will see it. We're not enforcing that either, because I've seen some of the signs. And I've heard some of the language that's been heard over a block away. You have the right to peacefully protest. I protested. I protested at the state capitol against science. And we took our signs, and we had a great day. We dressed in lab coats to make a point. So I'm hoping I'm answering your question that the attorney was trying to clear up as well. I do have some other concerns I'll bring up, and I'm going to address that now, and then if somebody has another question, we can go forward.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I just want to
Councilman
speak to
Ball.
that ordinance. You know, I understand the concern of the citizens, you know, especially considering the political climate here in America. You know, we don't want to create a ICE situation here in the city of Saginaw. We don't want our police to become Gestapos. We don't want none of that to happen. We want people to have parties at their house and people to have a good time. But we don't want kids roaming the streets at 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going here and there with places where they have not been approved to go. And And we know what happens. We know what happens. We got some people that's looking for other children from certain sides of town to gather someplace so they can go there and shoot them. We know this for a fact, because it has happened many a times. And we don't want our kids to end up dead in these situations again. I'm sick and tired of it. I want our kids to be able to grow up in the city of Saginaw and stay here. I got 7 grandkids that had graduated from college, and though none of them live in Saginaw. That hurts my feelings. That hurts me, that they can't stay here in the city of Saginaw and work and live and be prosperous. I want them to be here in the city of Saginaw living and being happy. I want my grandkids here. I want to see my grandkids here. You know, so we want things to be proper and done right, and then we're going to go back and do this thing, I hope, and make the citizens come back and help us out to make it right for the city of Saginaw. That's all I want to do, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Wiggins, did you have something you wanted to say? I seen your hand in the corner, and
Yeah, I'll just, I guess, reiterate what I said in my earlier comments. You know, there's obviously an issue in the city of Saginaw, and what I often hear is, what is city council doing about it? What is the police doing about it? We're trying to do something about it. Now, I've heard the you know, public input, of course, and want to take all of that into consideration. But we are tasked with something that's difficult. We want to stop people roaming and killing each other, or, you know, fighting or whatever. So something obviously has to be done. We appreciate the input, but, you know, we have police that are basically, we say, to protect and serve. And what I hear right now from the public is all they do is show up you know, after something's happened. And this is a tool, and I appreciate Councilman Tobias' comment about putting up the signs and things that for businesses that are closed to help us bridge that gap on private properties is a great idea. I guess I realize that we need to look at the ordinance, take another look at it, and shore up some of the language in it. That's obvious. But we also need help in bridging those small gaps or big gaps that allow things to constantly happen in the city. And that's what we're up here trying to do.
Right.
Thank you.
My turn. I don't know, and I don't have the answer. And it hurts that we don't have a magic wand to stop all of this. But we do have a responsibility to keep it safe. I heard Pastor Tatum. I live in the same neighborhood. And the church, to me, should be commended.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time that it ever came in front of us that the church see the concern and the need. That's entirely different. Because that park has been there at least 10 years. Maybe not that many, but it's been there for a while. The problem I have, and it's not a problem, it's a concern. What are we gonna do? This is not just our issue, and right now, I've heard the union side, and I've also spoke to some unions. And the most of the union members that I know said that really don't apply. That does not apply in their world. They want to do what's right. I think that when we began, number one, when we had ARPA dollars, we put millions over in recreation facilities for the youth. If that's not working, then we should have fixed it. And people should have came forward and said, hey, this ain't working. It's not working. So we need to do something. I don't have a magic wand. And you know, my first instinct was to move forward because it's a template, but put a condition on it. That we try it out for 90 days. If it don't work, we come back to the board and do it again. But in between the 90 days, all of the people that came in here and expressed their concerns, come to the table. Come to the table. Help us write it. Help us write the proposal. When the nuisance ordinance came up, which was, how long ago? 6, 7 months? 6 or 7 months ago, we began to talk about it. There is nothing that goes on in this city, citizens, that you are not invited to do your input. The problem I have is that people are being told stuff and it's one-sided. It's not the whole truth. And so when people come to us, we sitting up looking like, what you talking about? What you talking about? We have an attorney that we pay for. If our attorney gives us information, it's up to us to get clarification and to get an understanding. She works, she actually tells us what's right and what's wrong. There is, I don't know, I just don't know, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore, because no matter what we do, for some, it ain't never enough. And it's not just a council problem we talking about. It's a community problem. My whole goal is to keep everybody safe. Picketers, citizens, have parties, but yet the parties, because we have a gathering. What is a gathering? If I'm having a family reunion, I don't want you coming to my house. And if I'm disturbing the peace, come on. So, I don't know how much validity is, and I'm still researching to all of the what we can't do and who gonna be affected. I'm still researching that, because when our attorney went over this, I do believe that if that was the case, she's qualified to tell us that. Now, she told us in so many words, anything we do is subject to scrutiny. Not just this, any ordinance on the book, anything that we do, people can look at us and they can sue us. That's all I want to say. Anybody else got anything to say? Yes, Councilwoman Hammond.
Thank you. First, thank you to the public again for coming and expressing concerns and talking about issues that have been brought up to us before. I look forward to the next steps, whatever the outcome of this vote may be. I look forward to working with the community to try to come up with comprehensive solutions. I feel as though it is not our job to wait for community members to come to us, and then again, and then again. It's going to be 9 o'clock in 7 minutes. I was elected to do this job. I think that involves us being proactive on these problems, and I think what I've heard tonight that has been very encouraging from council are those that have spoken about meeting with community members on our time, making sure that we're coming together and looking at the next steps, how we can be precise, how we can make sure that we are enforcing laws, make sure that we can make communities safe on the time that we are able to find with them. I do not think we should be setting the expectation for 27 people to come and speak for an hour and a half every meeting just to be heard. I also think that it is all of our jobs to protect civil liberties. I think there's clearly a misunderstanding of when we legislate, whose job is it to make sure that civil liberties are not going to be violated. This city has been taken to court before for violating civil liberties. We have had to change policies and procedures before because they violated civil liberties. So clearly there is a misunderstanding that we need to take some time to figure out. I look forward to doing the work. I look forward to having these deep conversations. There are some ideas presented tonight that I had not considered before. There were several people who came up and spoke that I'm just so glad for the work that they do. And I really honor that, and I really honor the input that everybody has given us today. And I'm gonna honor that by voting no on this ordinance. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I do.
Yes.
So, I do have a question for council members, because what I've heard since the last meeting, and then 1 month prior to the last meeting, we said we're gonna lay this over for a discussion of the manager's report, and we didn't talk about it at all. Which I thought we were going to, and then 2 weeks, here we are, and then we introduced the ordinance. So my question is, I hear a lot about, I don't like the language. Have you brought me an amendment? Can we amend this tonight? Do you have something that we could put into it that would be satisfactory that you could accept?
I would say, Councilmember.
Yes, go ahead.
As procedurally, since we're at adoption.
Yeah.
You got to vote it
I
up and
understand.
down.
Okay,
We
thank you for
can't
that
amend
opinion.
something without
Thank you.
reintroduction
Right.
and going through the full process, but there
Okay.
could be a postponement
Right. So,
to revise.
well, I want to
and
talk
bring back
about what the
something
attorneys are
different.
talking about right now, because since the last meeting too, I have talked to Pastor Bowen from the Help Organization, who's recognized all the way to the state level, working with youth violence. He did have some very good suggestions. It's a long list, and I just got a bunch of them today. It's a lot to digest before you get here and try to put all this together. I've also raised a concern with our attorney with protesting and our unions, and how we could maybe put it in there, because if you see it in black and white, that'll satisfy. And so there are some things we could look at there. We've heard comments about due process. So the attorney has told me today, she doesn't have it ready right now, but we could have an offer to postpone this, to take a look at it. I'm gonna go forward with it. But like you saw, and I don't know if the public saw tonight, that data center ordinance is rock solid. So at this time, I would make a motion to postpone this ordinance until September 14th. That'll give us another month to look at the document from HELP. If you haven't seen the document, we will provide what Pastor Bowen has provided to me, and then also taking into everything that we heard here tonight. And do we need to form a committee? I'm not sure. But I'm going to make a motion to postpone this until the 14th of September.
This motion on the floor, do we have seconds?
Second.
Second. Any just wait. It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed.
There's discussion there.
I'm sorry. There was a no?
Discussion.
But I was just
Discussion on the
getting-
amendment.
I was just getting to that.
No, you were taking.
This is
What?
a motion
You're
to
taking a vote.
postpone.
Okay. Councilwoman Hammond, what were you getting ready to say?
Thank you. So,
'Cause in order-
just procedurally, when there's an amendment considered, it just requires a second, and then we go into discussion, and then we have to vote on the amendment. So we don't have to vote to introduce.
We're not amending, we're
We're
postponing.
postponing.
Sorry, for the motion to postpone, sorry. So same rules apply. For postponement,
Did we vote?
we,
No any discussion.
Okay, and then that's what I was getting ready to do. Vote so we could go into discussion.
no,
We don't have to do that.
No, you have to have discussion before you vote.
Right.
Okay. Councilwoman Hammond.
thank you. I think that the nature of the public comment that we've heard today, number one, is to go back to the drawing board. I think that particularly taking this ordinance as it stands, I think we would be better served to just vote it down and start fresh, in my opinion, because the whole concept of the two parts of the ordinance that are problematic, which are both the definition of nuisance gatherings, how we define it, and then the enforcement mechanism, there's just a lot there that, in order to get it to a place where it needs to be, I honestly think it would be a lot less work to start fresh and make a commitment to say, here's where we're going to start in the future, whether that be forming a ad hoc committee on this issue. My concern is that we are postponing, we put a certain date out, and then everybody feels like they need to come out again to say the exact same thing. And I think that, you know, when we talk about the issues people brought about today about businesses, the issues about, you know, preventative measures, I think that, you know, we can take the spirit of this discussion, vote down this ordinance, and say we're gonna you know, talk about this in a different way. I think that it's a lot of work to go from a nuisance gatherings ordinance that's built this way into something that what we want to see, that people have talked about. I just procedurally, and with the amount of work, I think it'd be easier to just vote it down and move on. But that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman.
Yes, I think the timeline, I think that, you know, we're looking at, you know, the summer is almost over with. You know, school is starting and stuff, so I think that we don't have to really put in a rush and to make this, you know, I think that it's not a rush. I think we're doing it the right way, right? I mean, it's, you know, with the public coming out and everybody has spoken, I think now, you know, gives everybody an opportunity to, like you said, recreate this and to where it can be more pleasing and more constitutional to the public.
Mayor, I did just want to give the city clerk an opportunity to discuss procedurally what voting it down, the effect of that could be.
I believe the only way it can come back is via motion to reconsider, and then essentially you have what you've created back before you. So I think you're taking out your working time if you just vote it down today. I think if you postpone and go to your stakeholders, get your information that you want to make the changes, then it's going to come back as a reintroduction. It's not reconsidering what's on the table now. Does that make sense?
And I think that's what the timeline, I think, start for us 30 days. I think we can probably stretch that timeline as far as postponing it, and we can get it right. And so we can get the language right and address the nuisance that's in our community too as well, and give the public some opportunity too as well to input.
And I would ask that those comments do come to staff, because we brought this forward informally well over a month before it was brought to formal introduction. And I got, other than one comment from Councilmember Ostash, I didn't get any feedback until the date of the introduction.
So what I'm
we
hearing.
need that feedback.
Okay.
If the community wants to see revisions, if the council wants to see revisions.
So I want to make sure I'm hearing it. The feedback, and it is important. We don't have a problem with going back to the table. But no, like I said earlier, my total, what I really wanted to say is, let's try this for 90 days and work on all of this while we're doing it together. After 90 days, review it. If it's not working, throw it out. Let's start off. So, what I'm hearing is that, please, community, if you have some questions or concerns, don't sit on them. Make sure they get to the city manager's office, or we can do some meetings. We can set up some meetings.
Madam Mayor, and I would encourage changing this the way that Councilman Braddock mentioned, because a month isn't going to give you a lot of time.
Right.
For that, so.
I said 90 days.
Talking with the police department, the gatherings typically do slow down, as I think Councilman mentioned, later in the fall. So you can have more time than a month to put this together, especially if you want to have some additional meetings. It doesn't give you a lot of time to coordinate.
That's why I said 90 days. Yes, ma'am.
And like I said earlier, family, let's call y'all family, community, please keep this same energy, please. Please don't stop this momentum. This is momentum for us as a community. I probably only know about 4 or 5 faces that actually come to the meetings. We're about to have maybe some extra meetings. You guys, we need you there. We need your support. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for coming out. But don't come out when it's just a problem. Come out when there are no problems, when we can make these decisions together. It's the in-between, that's where the work is done. Like I was taught, you have a birthday and you have a death date. There's a dash in the middle. Your life is the dash. That's life. So we take for granted that dash. That's our entire life, that dash. Don't take for granted this time that you're here today. Don't stop. All I'm saying is please come back and support our community. You're here today. We want to see you in 2 weeks. We want to see you at these meetings. You guys come out like you did today, please. We need your help.
Any questions? Yes,
No,
Council.
I would just be in support of postponing it longer than 30 days. I think we
90.
at least need, I would say, 4 to 5, 6 months. I mean, honestly, because, getting the feedback from the community, meeting with staff, going back and forth and getting this right, it's going to take time. And it's going to take, our attention and our reaching out to the community. To make sure this is, as close to right as we can get it,
Yeah.
So I would ask for that to be pushed out a little bit.
I was listening to you. I was just trying to clear it on this end. Any questions? Yes, Councilwoman Hammond.
So I just want to be clear what's on the floor and what we already voted into the motion. So right now, there is a motion to postpone until a specific date in September. So either we apparently vote down that postponement to essentially, it doesn't come up.
Amend.
Or we can amend the specific postponement to say indefinitely. Is that?
No, not indefinitely.
Never indefinitely.
So it has to be a specific date on the amendment.
A motion to postpone indefinitely kills the motion
Let's put more time.
forever.
Pardon me.
We got 6 months.
Put more time.
I think we got 6 months.
Does anybody want to know what the council dates are coming up? Does that help?
Yes, that would help.
So we have September 28th, October 12th and 26th, November 9th and 23rd, or December 7th and 21st. We don't have 2027 scheduled yet.
Get through December. December is what again?
The 7th and the 21st.
Could go to 7th. Christmas. Yes.
Yeah. The only concern I have with the postponement, because I'm hearing 6 months, in 6 months, you're going to have a new council.
Well, then they got work to do.
So there's going to be an election, you may have some new council members. I think it should be us that takes care of this. Clerk, can you clarify again, what's the last council date before the election?
The last council date with this council will be November 23rd.
November 23rd. Okay, so I'm going to amend my motion that we postpone this till November 23rd, and we work on it in between.
Needs a second.
Second.
Discussion. Yes.
I think we should just vote it down and go back to the drawing board. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We got a motion on the floor, and the motion is, can you read it again, Ms. Chris?
It's to postpone the nuisance ordinance until November 23rd. Introduction of the nuisance ordinance until November 23rd.
That's the amendment.
Can you read
That's
it
the
again a
amendment
little bit
first.
louder? I'm sorry.
One more time.
Can you read it a little bit louder?
It's to amend the motion to postpone to make it November 23rd for the introduction.
So there will be a vote on the proposed amendment, then there will be a vote on the postponement.
Okay. Go on for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those, do I need to do a roll call?
Just ask if there's an A.
Okay, I'm sorry. All those opposed?
Nay.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Young.
Aye.
Councilmember Seals.
Aye.
Councilmember Balls.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Ostache.
Aye.
Councilmember Braddock.
Aye.
Councilmember Wiggins.
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond.
Nay.
And Mayor Moore.
Aye.
You have 8 yes and 1 no. So that motion to amend the date for the postponement to 11/23 is approved. Now you need to take the vote on the main motion to postpone it.
And the main motion is,
To postpone the introduction of the nuisance gathering ordinance to November 23rd.
did everybody hear that?
Yes, same thing.
Okay. All right. There was a motion on the floor. It was moved in second. Discussion. Let's vote on it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Young.
Aye.
Councilmember Seals.
Aye.
Councilmember Balls.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Ostache.
Aye.
Councilmember Braddock.
Aye.
Councilmember Wiggins.
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond.
Nay.
And Mayor Moore.
Aye.
You have 8 yes and 1 no. That motion is approved. We're all cleared up on that. On to resolutions.
We are at resolutions. I need a motion. Do we need to do them separate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The first one is to permit the service of alcoholic beverages on public property at 118 North Michigan Avenue.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Madam Clerk.
The second one is to authorize sponsors of various community events the use of amplifying equipment.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Madam Clerk.
The final resolution is to authorize the termination of Division Number 6373011-01 of the Municipal Employees Retirement System Healthcare Savings Program for members of the International Association of Firefighters hired after July 1, 2016.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk,
Takes you to miscellaneous business.
do we have any miscellaneous, do we have any motions that we'd like to put on the floor? I need a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.